I'm going to teach you today a skill used by the top entrepreneurs in the world that could mean the difference between you losing your entire business or making even your first million. And it all comes down to learning how to speak customer. It is a skill that for some reason nobody seems to be teaching, yet you will encounter this at some point, whether you're a multi-person startup, whether you're a freelancer, whether you're a solopreneur, it doesn't matter. Even if you have a product or service, this applies to everything. And once you learn this skill, everything becomes amplified, from your sales, which become easier, your marketing, which becomes more impactful, and your ability to just tell people what your value is becomes so much easier. You'll get more customers doing this, you will get more sales, you'll earn more. Everything is amplified by this skill set. So let's go ahead and dive into it. Before we begin, I want you to remember this quote: the right words can earn you millions or make you millions, because the way that you communicate about your business, about your app, about your startup, about whatever it is you're trying to get somebody to ultimately buy or at least become invested in can have a profound impact. So once you follow this video, not only will sales become easier, they will also become shorter. You'll just be able to easily close the gap. Zoom calls will become easier. People will see your product as higher value. You'll be able to charge more for it and attract better customers who are willing to pay you more. Not only that, but you'll also get more customers for less. That means you'll have to spend less on ad spend, less on marketing. You'll have to spend less of your time. You'll have to spend less everything to be able to get more. And most importantly, everything in your marketing becomes amplified as well. So this affects everything from the top of the business to the very bottom, and it's something that realistically anybody can use. Now, I want to be clear. This video is for you. If you fit one of these three criteria, it's going to make the biggest splash. You feel like you're saying all the right things, but nobody's buying. You feel like you've put all this effort into your service and your product and your skills and your deliverables and your value and everything you just think is A-okay. But for some reason, they're just not taking that next step. They're not really buying it. The second thing is, if your marketing just feels like a money pit. Maybe you've sworn off Google Ads, Meta Ads, it didn't work for me. Why should it work for anybody else? Or maybe they're getting onto your landing page and they're not taking the next step. Maybe they're going to your website and they're scrolling around and then they just click off. They don't care. They're not booking a call, they're not adding to cart, they're not doing something. Or even if you're getting them that far, maybe they're getting into that call, maybe you've sent them the pitch, maybe you've sent them the document to sign, maybe they've gone all the way to checkout and they suddenly ghost. They disappear, they don't come back. For some reason, they just didn't do the thing. And you put all this effort into it and it's really frustrating. So here is how you can fix all of this by learning to speak customer. What does speaking customer mean? So speaking customer means that you're going to take what you offer and you're going to reframe it, either your product or your service, whether it's in speech or in text, in a way that the customer instantly understands what it is and they instantly understand why it applies to them. So they need to know what you do, what they can get out of it, and why it matters. And a lot of the times I see this often with businesses, especially tech-centric ones, where it's not really clear who needs this thing, what it does, what it's for, what I'm going to get out of buying it. But I've seen this in every type of business, especially ones as well that are overly creative. If I land on your website and it says that you guys are some, hey, we move pixels in San Francisco, or we are the experts in this field by creating innovation that unlocks transcendent design or whatever, it's just word soup. If it doesn't tell me those things and if it doesn't really showcase the value, people are also going to have the same issue. They're just going to leave. So learning to speak customer is changing the positioning of what you're doing so that your product appears or your service appears higher value, it's easier to understand, and they see exactly what they're going to get out of it. Now, there are 3 golden rules when it comes to speaking customer. Number 1, they should know exactly what it does and why. The why is really important. If I go to your website and I look at the header, for instance, or if I look at the little subheader or the body, that is about the first 30 seconds of the impression that I'm going to have in your business, or I'm just going to click off. You're not beating the back button, I'm just going to go away. So I need to know what you do, plain and simple, and I need to know why you do it. Make it seem like it's valuable. Make it easy to understand. I shouldn't have to have a high-level degree to understand this. I shouldn't have to comb through pages of your marketing materials, of your website, of your pamphlet to just understand what you do and why. The second thing, it's all about the customer, not you. If your marketing materials, if your sales, if your website overemphasizes everything about we're so great, we do all this stuff, we're so powerful, we have the best skills, we have the best this app, we have this camera, we have this whatever. If you're talking too much about yourself on your stuff, then that is a problem. You need to speak to them. You need to directly make them the hero. Your website, for instance, if I read a header on it, if I see that little tagline and it says something to the effect of, "We're so good, please give us money," to some degree, that's a very big problem. And you'd be surprised how often that occurs. You have to tell the people what they're going to get and also that they are the hero in this journey. We're going to get you to that next step. We're going to solve that thing. If you were looking to solve this, you are on the right path. So it's about them. It's not about you. They're the hero in the journey. Third, keep all ideas simple and easy to follow. It should be simple enough that ideally somebody who is in 5th grade could read this thing and understand what it is. If I need to have a master's degree or a PhD to understand what it is, if there's too much technical jargon, if there's things that only make sense to you, if there's things that only make sense to people in your industry and not like your customer are going to know these, that's a very big problem. Keep it simple. The simpler, the better. If it directly and succinctly and easily just tells me how it does the thing, why it's important, all of this stuff, that is a home run. So you don't want to overcomplicate it. You don't want to undercomplicate it. You got to want to find a sweet middle ground that really highlights what you're doing and why it's important. Now, here are the 3 biggest mistakes to really illustrate these. You are speaking at them, not with them. This is a very common one. So let's say I go to your website, for instance, and you are speaking like you're trying to sell them. Buy my thing. We're so good. I'm talking straight to you. You're like a used car salesman, essentially. That's a very big red flag. And not only that, you have to blend in. Look at the terms that they use when they talk to each other, when this person wants to solve this issue. It might be the difference between saying like, oh, we work with investors, or we work with flippers. We work with remodelers. We work with designers. Now, fundamentally, all 4 of those people might work in the housing industry, but if you're not speaking and using the same jargon, the same language with them, they're not going to feel like you're a part of it. They're going to feel like you're trying to overly sell them on something. So the second one is, well, it's all about fluff. If it's all about fluff, then it won't do anything. I can't tell you how often I go to a website and it says just buzzwords. We unlock innovative, special techniques that allow optimization for growth potential within organizations. And I have no idea what that means. It just feels like you dumped basically a buzzword tech salad on me. Or conversely, and I see this a lot with local businesses, is if there's really no substance to back it up. If you tell me that, we're super trustworthy, we're like a family, we have the best customer service, you have to elaborate on how you do that. If you are out there getting a business more revenue, how are you getting more revenue? If you are increasing operational efficiency, how are you doing that? If you have the best customer experience, what does that customer experience look like? Outline that, paint a picture, and structure it so that it makes sense. This way that you are actually backing up those claims. So if you say we're highly trusted and highly regarded, back that up with some Google reviews, back that up with some video testimonials. If you're saying that you're increasing operational efficiency, well, how much? Are you increasing this by 5%, by 10%, by 15%? How many businesses have you done this for? Slap some numbers in there. Put some real die-hard facts and actual numbers instead of just basically focusing on fluff statements, things that really don't have any value to them, because people will sniff that out. Then the third one, and this is really important, people don't buy features. There's far too much technobabble on your stuff, or you're just trying to pitch me features. Think about it this way. If I go to something that you have that describes your business and you're basically looking at a spec sheet, like you would buy a smartphone and you see that it's got this much RAM and this much processing power, nobody buys like that. They buy what they can get as a result of those. Think about when Steve Jobs sold the iPod. He didn't say that it had 128 gigs or 32 gigs on it. He said it fits this many songs on it, because then all of a sudden people understand that metric where they can take their albums, their music, all their stuff off of iTunes and say, perfect. Well, I don't need to know, okay, what's the bit rate of this MP3? How big is an MP3? How many MP3s can I fit on this? You just need to know, hey, on average, it fits this many songs or this many photos or this many videos. Same thing with your stuff. Drain out the technobabble, drain out the feature list, and start to talk more about the benefits and outcomes. Those are what people buy. Those are what people want to see. That is why, for instance, that Airbnb doesn't really pitch, hey, look how easy it is to book on our website. They pitch the experience. Look at this. You can get your own little vacation away from home. All you have to do is head to our website, and it's this simple to live this dream life. You're trying to sell them on the benefits, the outcome, the result of what you're getting from working with you. So don't overemphasize technobabble and don't try and sell them features. Features are just pretty much a spec sheet. It's just a list of an item. Tell me what that thing does for me. So if you're trying to sell me like a drill and it has 12-volt battery, well, I need to know that 12-volt battery, extend that phrase and say, that means that your battery is going to last twice as long as other competing drills at about 2 hours, so that you don't have to keep messing around with the charging cradle and putting it back in and forth, and you can keep getting to your home renovations. That outlines the benefit and the outcome of that. So now that we have an understanding of where we're at, how do we solve this? So I have 3 customers here that can illustrate this point perfectly. In the world of sales and marketing, you typically have 3 types of people who are ultimately going to interact with your thing. Doesn't matter if it's digitally, doesn't matter if it's in person. And they're all at different stages in the buying cycle. So here, wrong finger, here we have our non-savvy customer, we have our semi-savvy customer over there, and then all the way on the right we have our extremely savvy customer. And this is just an easy way to think about it, where the non-savvy customer has a problem, something that you can probably solve, but they're not really sure where they should go. Likely they understand that something is wrong in their life. They're hungry, they're not earning enough, their wife is yelling at them, something's going on, their dog hates them, they have some sort of intrinsic problem in their life. The semi-savvy customer is going to be somebody who says, I have a problem and I'm exploring some of these solutions, but I'm not really 100% convinced that one of these is the right solution. So they might be looking at your competitors. They might be looking at people who can probably solve this problem, but are in a totally different market segment. This would be like somebody who's hungry and they're looking at everything from orange chicken to a cheeseburger. But you want them to come into your restaurant. You want them to drive in. But you're not really sure what it is on which one's going to help them feel the most full. Now you have your savvy customers, which are people who are, okay, I understand I have a problem. I understand that you can help me with this problem. I just need a reason to act now. I need to know what the next step is. Now, when you look at what you're selling from the perspective of each one of these, you'll find that they are at wildly different outcomes. And by that, I mean, if you're addressing each one of these, you have to understand that the stage, the way you communicate with them, is going to be very different. Think about like a car dealership. You might walk into that dealership ready to buy a car because you know you need a new car, you know you need something to get you around, but you're not really sure what the right one is. So that's going to be somebody who's like, probably in the non-savvy customer base. They have a problem and maybe they're looking around. Maybe they're going to get a bus ticket that they can just get a subscription to. Maybe they're going to get a car. Maybe they're going to get a ride on demand. And then suddenly you settle on, you know what? I want a car. So now you've moved to the semi-savvy customer base where you're like, okay, I know that the car is my solution, but I don't really know which car. So you walk into the dealership and then all of a sudden the guy walks up to you and he says, what brought you in today? What are you looking for? And you're like, I want a car. I don't need something too flashy. I want good MPG. I want this. I want that. And now all of a sudden you're comparing all these different options. Maybe you're weighing getting an electric vehicle, maybe you're weighing getting a hybrid, maybe you're weighing getting even a gas car. But until they educate you, they're going to position you in a way to get you to the thing that you ultimately think you need that will hopefully solve your problem the most efficiently. And then you typically move into the savvy customer territory where you're like, you know what? I'm ready to invest in an electric car, and I know I need a charger. I know I'm going to have it in my garage. It has this many miles. I'm kind of just looking for what deal you can give me on an electric vehicle, Mr. Car Dealership. So, the whole purpose of this thought experiment is to look at what you're selling from the customer's perspective. You have to distance yourself from what you're doing, all the knowledge that you have, all the experience you have, and you have to put yourself in the shoes of this person and determine which one of these customers you're trying to address. Because if you do this incorrectly, for instance, then you might be speaking language they have no idea what this thing is, how it applies to them, why it matters. So let's illustrate this with what I would say is our spectrum of customers. On the left side, these people here are going to be the least qualified, but this is also where the most amount of people live. So this is theoretically everybody who could buy your thing and solve the problem with it. Say you want to sell weight loss. Well, weight loss could anybody wants to feel healthier, wants to lose weight, wants to feel better about themselves. So theoretically, it could apply to anybody. But the reality is we're looking more towards the other end of the spectrum. We want to get these people closer towards qualification and closer towards getting out their credit card to buy your thing. So as we move along this spectrum, notice how the width of this narrows, which means we're going to have more qualified customers, but we're going to have less people. But these are going to be people who understand what you do, the value you provide. They theoretically are ready to just purchase it. They just need to know what happens next. In the middle is kind of going to be the people you're weighing those options with. But we want to get the person over here who is not qualified, broad strokes, and move them closer and closer to seeing the value of what you can do by qualifying them. Now, this is what you're doing behind the scenes. These people who are in the entry portion, who are very broad problem solvers, we don't know enough about them just yet. We don't know their spending power. We don't know if they're even ready to solve this problem. Is this a tomorrow problem? Is this a 6-month from now problem? But they're the least likely to understand what it is you do, and they are going to have the least perceived value of what it is that you do. By that, I mean these people at the very beginning who are just broad strokes, you could probably solve their problem and it can apply to many people. They just need education and awareness. You're jumping into that person's life and saying, hey, do you have this problem? I'm going to help you understand how to solve this problem and consequently move you closer into getting my thing that will solve this. So you're going from education and awareness to, hey, do you feel tired all the time? Does your back ache? Do you wish you made more money? Do you wish you had the respect of your coworkers? Very high level emotional problems. But when you take one of those, let's say like the respect of your coworkers or making more money as an example, theoretically that could be solved by many things. Getting a better job, opening up another side revenue stream, starting a business, doing something to earn more money, improving your skill set to get a promotion. So where you're understanding their perspective is just to get them to be educated enough to understand how your thing could get them closer to where they want to be. And then kind of in the middle is you're overcoming those objections and you're just really building trust. Now they understand a little bit about what you do and you just need to build that repertoire. Now you're saying, hey, I can help you make more money by helping you learn how to start a business. This is what my process looks like. And I understand that you've never started a business before, but anybody can do it. We have all these success stories. Look at all these social proof, these video testimonials. Look at all these, all these questions that are going through your mind. We want to address those so that you feel confident when you are ready to take those next steps. So once they are in that phase, you're moving them straight into the final stage, which is they are the most likely to understand what you do. They have the highest perceived value, and all you need to do is remove the barriers to entry. Make it easier, make it faster, make it simpler. If it's a limited time deal, if it's an exclusive offer, if it's a bonus, if it's something that gets them to whip out their credit card and actually buy your thing. Now, this is the 3-step business to customer translator. By the way, before I continue, if this is still kind of too confusing for you, if you want you can hop on a quick call with me. In the pinned comment, you'll see a link where you can book a time with me, or in the description, one-on-one for free. I'll just walk through all of this and actually do it for you step by step with your business so that you don't have to do all of this rigmarole. Now, the three-step business to customer translator. What we need to do is to change our language that we use on everything. We need to translate our words into a format that the customer will understand, want to buy, and see your thing as incredible value. The first step, you need to start using the words that your customers already use, the what. So what you need to understand are attributes like, what do they call themselves? What jargon do they use? What interests do they have, and how do they describe those interests? What problems do they have, and how do they convey those problems? For instance, if you were trying to sell something to somebody and you had all these high-level terms that you spent years getting your certs and your college degree or your experience, and none of that's going to matter if they don't understand what the thing is. So you need to use the language they use, the things that they value, the things that they are already talking about. So you might be saying like, hey, we can improve your revenue by decreasing your CPMs and decreasing the amount you pay per lead. Or you could say something as simple as, we will run more effective ads for you so that every dollar you spend on your marketing goes that much further for your business without the headaches. Just reframing it in a way that's simpler, easier to understand. And there might be little small things that they're using that the people you want to work with, and we will get to that as well on how to actually locate those, but you've probably seen some patterns. So start to understand what it is, how they communicate with one another, what terms they're using. The second step is talk about the benefits and the outcome. If you have proof, use that proof. But if you don't even have that, talk about why this thing matters. What am I going to get after buying this thing? What outcome am I expected to see at the end of the tunnel? Because so many people talk about, we are a landscaping business, but they don't talk about the feeling you get when you have a freshly trimmed yard and all your neighbors love you, and when you have a backyard summer barbecue, everybody's going to be complimenting your garden. I want that experience. I do not care that you're going to show up with a gas-powered weed whacker and make all this noise. I want the aftermath of it. This is exactly why plane companies never, ever sell the experience of getting on the plane. They sell the actual outcome and benefit of going through there. So if you book with us through TSA pre-booking, for instance, you'll skip the line. That is what people want to hear. So let's say I'm trying to sell you a vacation package and I'm an airline. And it sounds obvious, but this is really important that you understand, do not sell all the stuff in between. That means that I have to sit in a crusty airport lobby, go through TSA, take my shoes off, get scanned. No, I want you to sell me on getting on that flight and landing in Vegas and having an awesome party when I'm throwing my money down on the roulette table. You're going to feel so great. You're going to have the best time of your life. That is what people are looking for. They want the benefits and the outcome. They do not want the features. We talked about this earlier, but it's important to highlight it because all too often businesses talk about the features, they talk about the work, they talk about the just the boring parts. Tell me what I'm going to get out of your thing, the benefits and outcome. It's very, very powerful if you switch to this mindset. And the third step is reverse the risk and make it easy sounding. If you can add a supplementary statement at the end of these things, then all of a sudden you're taking that doubt out of their mind because you're entering the conversation they have in their head. For instance, instead of saying like, hey, I can come to you and increase your sales, then I can change that language to say, this is the no guesswork, easy system that we're going to implement into your business that will increase your sales, even if you struggle with sales yourself. Even, this is a weight loss program. If, for instance, I was selling that as an example, I would say, you can use this to just stretch, or you can use this to exercise just 30 days a week, even if you're a busy professional who can't make it to the gym, and you'll still lose weight. It's because people are going to look at that weight loss. People are going to look at that sales process and say, well, I'm not good at sales. I don't know how to sell things. I don't know what I'm doing with sales. You need to address that from the get-go. And the weight loss example, they're going to say, Well, I'm a busy work from home professional. I don't have time to do this. I don't know what I'm doing. Am I in the right form? That 30-minute one will say, hey, if you can just dedicate 30 minutes to this a day, you will lose the weight. So that makes it seem that much more valuable. Now, let's run through a real world example of this with our 3 customers here. Let's say that you wanted to sell body work, think like massages, think stretching exercises, think things like that, to work at home professionals. Here is examples of how you would address this at each stage in your sales marketing and operations. So our non-savvy customer, they have a problem. So they feel strained. Their back hurts. They just feel bad because they're shrimped over in this chair like I am right now, and they're working from home all the time. So that bad posture is contributing to their achy back. What some people would do on their website, as example, say, we offer myofascial release, trigger point therapy, and neuromuscular reeducation. No idea what that means. Only bodywork people do. But if I said, are you working from home and sitting at your desk? Is that wrecking your posture? We help remote workers relieve back and neck pain so they feel better every day without spending hours stretching. You see how much more powerful that is? You don't need to know anything about the business, but you do know who needs it, what it solves, and most importantly as well, all of it is higher perceived value, especially with that risk reversal statement, meaning that a lot of these busy professionals probably have limited time, so they don't want to waste hours stretching. Same thing here. Manual therapy reduces chronic pain by realigning skeletal structures, which could be tried stretching but still in pain. Our deep tissue sessions target the root cause of stiffness, so you don't have to live with discomfort. First session, 50% off because you deserve to feel good every day. Same thing here. We offer, let's say we talk to our savvy customer who knows a little bit more about this process. We offer single session and package options for neuromuscular treatments at competitive pricing. Should be reworded as ready to stop dealing with nagging pain. Our deep tissue therapy helps you feel looser, move better, and work pain-free. Book today, flexible scheduling, no contracts. Do you see how even these simple changes that you can put inside of your website, your marketing, your sales, your operations, anything that you're doing could have a profound impact? All of these different attributes, people don't need to know how your service works. They don't need to have a degree. They don't need to be a part of the industry to understand it. They just know you can solve my problem. Seems really valuable. I'd like to know the next steps. So let's talk about a real world example number 2, a password manager app for small business owners. Basically, this app, you would download it, you'd store all your passwords in it. It would allow you to do it without having to remember them or write them down in a book. I see this all the time with tech industries, and that's why I highlight this one specifically. So, let's say Guy, our non-savvy customer, has a bunch of passwords. Everything from his email to his social media to his favorite cooking website. If I go to your website and it says, our platform offers AES 256 encryption, secure vault storage, and multi-device synchronization. No idea what that means to the average person. But if I said, are you tired of forgetting your passwords? Instead of writing them down and resetting them every time, our password manager remembers all of them for you so you never get locked out again. Sign up in 2 minutes for free. Imagine how impactful that statement is versus the last one. You don't need to know anything about the technical jargon. It tells you exactly what pain it's solving, and it tells you a clear pathway to solving that problem that's enticing. Sign up in just 2 minutes for free? Tell me more. Let's say we have a slightly more savvy customer. Seamlessly integrates with your devices for enterprise-grade security and zero trust encryption. Again, no idea what that means. A lot of features. I don't know what those features do for me. But are you still using the same password everywhere? Our tool creates strong, unique passwords for every account and autofills them for you when you log in, so hackers can't break in. Try it for free, no credit card required. Even better, imagine how that simple tweak would have an impact. Imagine if you implemented these things. Let's say we have a savvy customer. He's looked at all these password managers. We offer single session and package options. Oh, actually, that one's incorrect for that's a massage one. But let's say, for instance, something along the lines of, You've tried all the other password managers and they don't offer XYZ feature. At the end of the day, it's probably going to be along the lines of some sort of techno jargon. Instead, we could say, compared to LastPass and 1Password, we're easier to use, more affordable, and built for small business owners like you. Protect your accounts in one click. Start your free trial today. So that subverts their expectation by comparing it to the competition, tells me why they're better than the competition, and a clear way to solve the problem. Now, before we jump into this, I'm going to give you some proven bonus translation hacks just for sticking along this far in the video, because you're honestly ahead of way more people who should be learning this skill, and I want to commend you for doing that. But I also want you to imagine what a profound impact this is going to have on your business, because if you change these things in your website headlines, in your marketing materials, in everything that you do, you will increase your conversion rates. Basically, you'll get more customers for so much less work. You'll be spending less to actually get those customers. And again, to reiterate, everything will be amplified in your marketing, just like we talked about in the beginning. So these are 4 bonus proven translation hacks. You can use these easy steps to create winning content every time, even if you are struggling on how to apply this to your business. Number 1, how to always know what customers say. To solve this, go find 3 groups where your customers hang out in. Facebook groups, networking events, YouTube channels, and find and observe the way they talk amongst one another. You can mimic the slang, tone, and habits and write it all down in a document somewhere. Let's say, for example, you're a personal trainer and you're looking for clients. You join a Facebook group for busy professionals and you see the same couple posts after searching around or maybe even just waiting that I don't have time to work out. I hate dieting. I just want something simple. So instead of saying we optimize workouts for maximum efficiency using high intensity HIT method, oh, it's already a word salad. HIIT methodologies, you say lose weight in 30 minutes a day, no strict diets, no gym required. Why this works is because you immediately understand and you're solving their exact problem. Join those groups. It's a goldmine of data. Don't try and sell your thing. Just observe, gather data, look at how people are communicating. Second one, how to make anything a winning statement. If you want to take anything in your product or service and create bullet points for it that absolutely sell it and just make it incredible value, you can take each point and create it in the format of feature that gives you benefit so you can get outcomes. Let's say you had a house cleaning service. If you offered this, you could say we do weekly cleaning, we do deep cleaning, and move out cleaning. Or you could say we do weekly cleaning that gives you a spotless house so you can relax without stressing about the chores. We even do deep cleaning service that gives you fresh, dust-free space so that you can breathe easier and feel healthier. And not only that, we're also going to give move out cleaning that gives you perfectly clean home that's ready for inspections so you can get your deposit back hassle-free. Why this works? It keeps the message clear, simple, and focused on what people actually want as a result of your thing. Next, how to instantly validate your ideas. If you're just like, I don't know if this is working, I don't know why it's not working, I don't know why people are still struggling, take the thing. Let's say a landing page for an example. Take your landing page, take your website and marketing, print, materials, anything, and show it to 3 people. One of them is your ideal customer who you want to buy your thing. The second one is a friend, family, or coworker, somebody that you know. And the third one should be a stranger. It could be a friend of a friend, it could be a complete stranger that you just walk out to and, hey, I'll buy you a cup of coffee. Take a look at this. Does this make sense? Do you understand it? Do you understand what this thing is? And they'll know, they'll pretty much tell you 100% if they understand what you do, why it matters, and how you do it. So let's say you had a meal prep business and your headline on your website said, we provide premium, chef-curated organic meal prep solutions. Instead, you could say healthy, ready-to-eat meals delivered to your door so you never have to cook after work. I don't like cooking after work myself. I actually would be interested in something like this. So your ideal customer says, that's exactly what I've been looking for. Your friend says, oh, it's meal delivery. That makes sense. And this stranger says, got it. You bring meals to my door. Easy. If a total stranger understands your offer, your messaging is clear. Finally, how to make it so simple that anyone gets it. Take all the text you're trying to fix. Hopefully you've written this down in your notepad app, your documents. If it's in a journal, somewhere, write it down digitally. Open up your favorite AI app, which if you don't have one, that's fine. Use the free version of ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, whatever. Just Google whatever the latest flavor of AI is. I'm going to recommend ChatGPT at the time of writing in this video and ask it this phrase right there. This is the language I'm using to describe my business. Does it make sense? Is it easy to understand? And is my value clear? I want it to be high value and simple to understand. and immediately paste the text right after it. Hit enter, and it'll tell you exactly what's missing. So let's say you're a dog trainer. We use positive reinforcement, operant conditioning, I don't even know what that means, counter conditioning techniques to modify canine behavior and optimize obedience. You just see how these phrases are so dense. Instead, you could have just said, we help dog owners stop bad behaviors and teach good ones, so you can enjoy a well-behaved pet without frustration. You see how much easier and how much more applicable, how much just more digestible and value-driven somebody could look at this statement right here and go, oh, I want that. So here's your customer speaking checklist. 4 ways that you can try this right now. Is it clear enough that a 10-year-old can understand? Does it focus on what the customer gets, not just what you do? Would your ideal customer actually use these words? And does it remove the risk and make it easy for them to say yes? If you can check all of these, you are already ahead of 99% of the competition. So, did this video give you value? I hope so. And if it did, subscribe, because I put out a video like this once a week to help businesses grow and succeed, and I want the same for you. Share it, because this helps other people who are going through the same journey that you are as a business owner, and they will get the same value that you've gotten, hopefully, from this video. And as always, if you do still need help, if you're just confused, you don't understand what's going on, you can't quite figure it out, it's not quite hitting the notes that you want it to, you can always book your free call with me. There's a link in the description. There's also a pinned comment, and I'll just give you personalized steps for free on how to grow your business and use the techniques in this video specifically as well. But until then, that's all I got, and I'll see you guys next time.